Mentioned to everybody that I want you to launch SketchUp for School. So if you have a new browser open, a tab open, please go to the waffle. That's the 9 dots in the corner. And we're going to launch SketchUp for Schools. And we're going to work on our first project. You might have to do this twice, but that's okay. So once you're here, start a new file, feet and inches, and let me know when you're there. And just give me a message. Please type this out, type in the chat box, ready. Abraham, Alexis, Jeremy, Anna, Angel, Lopez, Andy, Gabriel, Joaquin, Angel, T, Terrence, Trenton, Vincent, Gio. Still waiting for a couple more students. When you're at this screen, let me know by typing ready. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Abraham. Almost got everybody. So let me know when you're in this screen. And just in case you missed it before, if you open up a new tab, thank you, Howard. If you go to the 9 dots, and you scroll down, you should have SketchUp for Schools ready to go. Once you get there, create new. All right. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is title this. Okay, I'm giving you guys some time to do this. So we're going to call this the Dado joint. So it's going to be D-A-D-O joint underscore your name underscore just today's date, which is 11/13/20. And when you're at this part here, make sure you hit OK. And we should have it save. It does take a second. It has to create a file inside of your Google Drive, and it takes a second to establish that connection. Okay, there it goes. I'd prefer if everybody goes to their classroom folder. There should be a folder called Classroom. Just select that. Okay. If you set up a file beforehand for construction, even better. So give me a ready in the chat box when you're at this part here, when you have saved the file. Perfect. Keep them coming, people. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Tyler. Waiting for a couple more and we can move forward. Donovan, I have not heard from you. Max, have not heard from you. So, Lexus, yes. So the model name, if you look on the top of my screen, is Dado joint. DADO joint. So if you click on, I think on your screen, Alexis, it'll say untitled. Just click on that, and you should be able to type it in. Did you catch that, Alexis?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna hit cancel. All right.
Mr. Foster, what do you put on the title?
It is Dado joint, so I'll click on this again. So it's DADO joint, and you can either put a dash or underscore. It's your first letter of your first name and your last name. So for me, it's M. Frausto. And then just today's date, 11/13/20.
So what do we have to type up for our model name?
So it's right there. Can you see my screen, Alexis?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It's just Doodle Joint and Frosto.
So yours will say Dado joint, A Santillan, 11/13/20.
11, 13, 20.
All right. Okay. So just select that person, delete them. Let me undo that. So all you have to do is highlight them, hit the delete button, or right click and erase. And what I want everybody to do next is go to the
Mr. Frosto, what number is it again?
number.
Yeah, like you said 11 what?
Today's date, 11/13/20.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Okay, so let me go back to everybody else here. On the right-hand side, if you click on the little play scene button, I just want to make sure we're all working in the same space. You should have this little house, okay? And I want you to pick the parallel projection. And I want you to pick the top view. Okay, so give me a let's go in the chat box when you're here. Excellent, excellent. So I'll be writing down some dimensions here on my speaker screen. So the little tiny screen that you see, since I have this share screen as primary. Okay. So in case you lose the numbers, I'll have them here, okay? So we're gonna make our dado joint, and this would be something that we create in the shop in real life. So I'm giving you the real life dimensions, okay? So we're gonna be making two, let's call them boxes or two pieces of wood, okay? So let's call it making two pieces, okay? Our first piece is going to be 2.5 by 1 1/4 by 3/4. Okay. Our second piece is going to be 3 1/2 by 1 1/4 by 3/4. And all these are in inches. Okay. So I'm just writing these down. They're there for you. You can go back and look at them, and I'll repeat them as I'm going through. And I am recording this lecture, so it makes it a little bit easier. You guys can go back and reference this. Okay. Let me move this out of the way. So go to the rectangle command on the left. Go ahead and select it. Rectangle there. And we're going to pick the center point, the origin. You're going to click and drag it out. And I'm not touching the mouse right now. If you look at the bottom right, there should be a box that says dimensions and it has a bunch of numbers. We're going to type in our dimensions, okay? And we're going to focus on the first two dimensions, okay? I'm looking back at my screen here. So we're working with 2 1/2. Let me zoom in. Okay, so we're working with 2 1/2 and 1 1/4. So let's type it out. 2. I'm going to hit the number 2 here. You'll notice that the dimensions are changed. 2 space 1/2, 2 1/2, comma, by 1 space 1/4, 1/4. Hit enter, and it should be really tiny, so you just got to zoom in. You could also go to our menu down here and just zoom extends. It'll take you really zoomed in like that. Okay. All right. And when you are ready, give me a good. Good. And if you need me to do that again, let me know. Okay, we got half of you ready, so I'm waiting on a couple people that I've heard from a bit. Anthony, let me know if you're good. Vincent, let me know if you're good.
There, I drew it.
Thank you.
I drew that one.
Excellent. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Howard. Okay, I haven't heard from Nick. I haven't heard from Max. Connor, are you good? Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Connor. Okay. All right. And this is just a good way of checking. On your left here, we could add some dimensions. If you go to the measuring tape, select dimensions, you can double check that your measurements are good. Click on that. We're going to just pick the endpoints here and here and pull it out. Here here and there, okay? All right. So what we're going to do now is, let's go back to our little camera here. Click on that. And let's go and select the bottom left. This is ISO 1. Select that. So now we see this at an angle. All right. Give me a JR for John Rowland when you're here.
So, wait, so on measuring tape, what do I have to press?
Okay, I'll do that again. So you're like this right now, right, Alexis?
Yeah, like I just pressed measuring tape, right? Like that's what I did.
Hold on. We'll get you there.
Okay.
I'll repeat it one more time. Okay, so you go to the menu. It's a little pop-up menu.
Like the measuring tape.
You have measuring tape, and then you have one, if you hover over it, that is called dimensions.
And
It
then
has like the number 3 on it. Dimensions.
and then dimensions.
So
Okay.
select that, and you're just picking the corners. See how it highlights the little corner?
Yeah.
Select one corner, select the other corner, and just drag it out and click it. Select top corner.
And then like,
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're here, Alexis,
yeah.
go to the little play button on the right that says scenes.
Yeah, I'm there. And then
Press the button on the bottom left, the little house.
oh, okay. Little house,
And then you should have this view. You have this view?
The view? I don't know.
Does it look like my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you're here, we're going to make this 3/4 thick. So let me just slide this over on my my video camera. So we need it to be 3/4. So we're gonna use the pull icon, push pull, push pull. We're gonna hover over this. We're gonna click and start pulling up. And as you're pulling up, if you go slow enough, you can get to 3/4, like I did right there. Or you can just type in 3/4, hit enter, and that'll be 3/4. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. We go to the left side of the menu, click on the push-pull menu, select push-pull, hover back to our rectangle. We're going to pull this up, and if you go slow enough, you can actually click 3/4 in place. And if it's jumping around too much for you, you can always type in 3/3 divided by 4, 3/4, hit enter. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the top view. Just like that. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set up the dado female portion of our dado joint. Okay. Now, first we have to draw the location where we're going to cut the dado joint, okay? Ideally in class, we would either cut this out with a handsaw, back saw, coping saw. We would clean it up with a chisel, sandpaper, but since we're doing this digitally, it's much easier. So we just have to lay out the lines. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is draw a center line. Now we're going to use our measuring tape. So back to the dimension menu, and the little, looks like a little measuring tape. It says tape measure. You can select that way, or because you're going to use this command a lot, if you hit T, the letter T, it'll turn into a tape measure. So even if you're in a different menu, if you hit T, it'll go back to tape measure. Okay, so you can find the middle two different ways. You could do the math. Half of 2.5 is 1 1/4, or you can rely on the software and just click, keep moving, and if you hover over, it'll actually click into place. So I just hovered over, it's red, 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 and then it turned green, and you can confirm it there. It is 1 1/4, which is 1 1/4, which is half of 2.5. So once you're there, click that. Okay. Now, so that's the center of our piece of wood. Now we could start laying out our dado joint and where it's going to go. Now our dado joint opening has to be 3/4 wide. You'll notice that on my, I guess my other camera, you'll see that the dimension there is 3/4. So we have two pieces of wood that are both 3/4. They're going to be joined together. So that's important to remember that number, 3/4. That's the thickness of the wood. So you can do some complicated math and figure out the distance from this edge to that edge to this edge, or we can use some simple math, and we're going to lay out the lines by using half of 3/4. I'm depending on second year students here. Can anybody tell me what's half of 3/4?
Good question.
So what's half of 3/4? Or even, you can give me the decimal. What's half of 0.75?
Three-eighths.
Thank you, Michael. 3/8 or 0.375. So from our center point here, I'm gonna click and move to the left. And if you go slow enough, it'll click into place. We want to go 3/8. Or you could type in 3/8. Okay. Now from here, you have two options. You can go to the center and go 3/8 the other way, or since you're here, I'm just going to click the same line. I'm going to go the other way, and I'm just going to type in 3/4, 3/4. And the distance from here to here is 3/4. And I'm going to use my dimension. to check that. From distance from here to here, 3/4. When you're at that point there, give me a fresh, FRESH, in the chat box. Excellent, excellent. Yes, Gabriel, I could do it again. Not a problem. And if you got there, please let me know by hitting fresh. So let me do it again. I'm just going to delete these for now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So go to this menu down here where the dimensions are. It'll either have dimensions or the tape measure. Select the tape measure, or you can hit the letter T. It'll take you directly to the tape measure tool. I'm going to start from the left. Select the edge, click, and drag it across. And you have an option. You can either figure out the half of 2.5, or you can let the computer do the work for you and just kind of slide over, and you will see it click into place. It'll be blue and black. And that is exactly the halfway point. Click that there. I'm going to use this line to give me my next line. I'm just going to click this line here and drag it to the left. And if you go slow enough, you can actually put in 3/8. And I'm going to select the new line again and move back the other way. And I want 3/4. Or you could type in 3/4. All right. Now that I have my layout lines for my dado joint, I'm going to draw a second rectangle. Okay. Now, just so I make sure I'm drawing on the right location, I'm going to go back to my camera and go to ISO 1. Okay. From here, I'm going to select the rectangle command one more time. And we're just going to pick the 2 corners here, drag that out here. All right. So now I have my rectangle. Now I have that. We're going to do one more step. We're going to use the push-pull tool. We're going to hover over our new rectangle, and we're going to cut into this. So we're going to drag this down. And we want to go down 1/4. If you go slow enough, it'll click into place. If not, you could type in 1/4. Give me a seniors when you're at this step.
Mr. Frosto, can you do that again? I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
No problem. It's fine. This is your time. Let's get it right. So I'll go from here. So you have your layout lines. We're going to go to rectangle. Make sure you select a rectangle. We're going to pick one corner, and you'll see a little X there. Click, drag it out, pick the other corner, click. We're going to move back to push-pull because we're going to cut away. We're going to cut out our dado. Hover over our new rectangle. You're going to click on it and push down on it. And if you do it slow enough, it should pick up 1/4. And if it doesn't, you can type 1/4 or 1/4.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Mr. Frosted.
No problem. And when you're there, everybody else, give me a senior or seniors. Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. You gave me a French senior, senor.
Wait, how do I do this? What you did, Mr. Frosto?
So do you want me to do one more time?
Yeah, like what do I press like? Because I'm doing it right now.
Okay, not a problem. I'll do it one more time. Make sure you're following.
Okay.
So you're at this point at least, right?
Yeah, I pressed the one like what you're doing.
Okay. So we're gonna go to rectangle because we have to draw a rectangle,
Rectangle.
and we're gonna
And then-
click on the top left corner,
Like where the rectangle is. Okay.
right? And we're just gonna drag it out until we hit the other side of the rectangle.
Okay.
Click on that. So now you drew a brand new rectangle. We're gonna go over to push pull.
Okay. Wait.
Click on that. Make
Wait,
sure
which
you
one?
push the button for push pull. It'll
Push
look like,
pull.
yeah.
Push pull.
We're gonna go back.
Where's the push pull again?
It's right below the rectangle.
Oh, okay. Push pull. No. I don't see the push pull. Where is it? Where's the push?
If you
pull?
can't
Push
find a
pull.
command, Alexis, you can
Yeah.
always go to the search. See this little magnifying glass?
Yeah. Push pull. Push.
Type in push pull.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
And if you see there's a shortcut for push pull. You can just hit P.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks.
To answer Adrian's question, no, a pencil tool's fine. As long as it's straight and true lines, it should be fine. Now that you have that, you hover over and you push down until it's 1/4, or you just type in 1/4, enter. Okay. And just to show that Adrian's way does work too, you can use pencil because all you're doing is connecting the dots. Go here, here, and that actually saves you. You don't have to draw these other edges. It should work the same.
How do I?
You get the same effect. So thank you for pointing that out, Adrian. All right. So we're done with the first part of our Dado joint, the female part. So the next thing we're going to do is go to our pointer or select tool. Let me check if select has a shortcut. Oh, perfect. That's a nice. So let's say I was in pencil. If you hit space, you hit space, it'll take you to the select tool. So that's a nice little shortcut. Space. Now the important part. Let's triple click until the whole thing is blue. We're going to right click and we're going to make a component. And we're going to call this the foot, or it's called dog foot. And give me a SMP when you're at that point. For sophomores, SMP. Gabriel, do you mean how did I make it blue? Okay, I'll do that part over. Not a big deal. So I just selected anywhere here, but you have to triple click until the whole thing's selected. So 1, 2, 3. I'll just hover it over this. 1, 2, 3. It has to be 3 in a row. And after you hit 3 in a row and everything's selected, you right click on it and make a component. And I'll call this again dog
Opponent.
foot. What do we set the glue to? You don't have to set anything right now, but let's, I think, make a component. Leave it at none. Gluing to means that you would keep it at a certain orientation. Right now, let's just keep it open. So good question, Adrian. Leave it at dog foot and none. It's fine. All right. So that's complete. Let's go back to our top view. I'm going to zoom out a bit. So I'm going to make another rectangle. So let me smooth this over. So now we're going to be drawing 3.5 by 1 1/4. Okay. So back to our rectangle tool. And I'm going to use our old part. I'm just going to click on the corner and just kind of drag it out. Okay, and again, this is a kind of a quick way in case you don't want to do the numbers. So we have 1 1/4 by 3.5. So you go 3 space 1/2, comma, by 1 space 1/4. Now, just so we're not confused, I'm going to move our blue rectangle. I'm going to move it over to the side a bit, okay? And you can do this 2 different ways. Okay, I'll slow down a bit. And Gio, which part do you want me to do over again? Okay, sure. Let me undo this then. So hit space, you're not picking anything else. We're going to go to rectangle, rectangle. And I'm just going to pick the bottom right point of my last rectangle, just kind of hover over it. It'll kind of lock into place. Click and start dragging it up. Now, as you drag it up, the program will understand, hey, do you want me to line up to this edge? Actually, I do. And then you start pulling it out. Now, as I'm pulling it out, if you look at the bottom right of the screen and look at dimensions, you'll notice that the second set of numbers is already set to 1 1/4. So I'm just showing you another way that you can quickly measure without typing in numbers. And if you go slow enough, if you have a mouse, you should be able to dial it in. Or if you're not patient, you already know the numbers, I'm going to just type in 3 1/2, comma, and make sure you're looking at the bottom right of the screen, by 1 space 1/4. Hit enter, and that's how you get that rectangle. Gio and Gabriel, are you guys good now? Do you want me to do this one more time? Okay, Gabriel, I'll do it one more time really slow. Rectangle command. Pick the bottom right corner of our last rectangle. Click and drag it open. Try that again. Click and drag it open. And just type in the number 3 space 1/2. That's 3 1/2. Comma 1 space 1/4. 1 1/4. Enter. Okay, so I don't get confused with this and I don't accidentally reference or use up anything over here. I'm gonna move this rectangle out of the way. So I'm gonna hit space to clear out. And we're gonna use the move command. It's a little X here. You could also hit the letter M, I believe is also the shortcut. And we're just gonna click on this corner. We're just gonna move it out of the way. Just makes it a little bit easier. Hit space to exit out of that. Okay. And now I'm just going to go back to the play button here. I'm going to hit the bottom left house. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to pull this up 3/4. So we're going to go to our push pull. Pull this up 3/4. And I'm just going to double check that all my measurements are correct. So I'm basically repeating some steps here. I'm going to use my dimension tool and just double check. Here, 1 1/4. Here, back there, 3 1/2. Yes, I'll show you how to move. I'll move this back over here in a second, okay? So everything else looks fine. I'm gonna hit space, and I'm gonna triple click. And I'm going to make this a component. And we're going to call this dog leg okay. And just pay attention to here, Geo. I'm basically going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit the letter M, or I could hit the move command. Hit M. I'm going to hover over my blue part here. I'm just going to click a point and just drag it over. So that's how you move things. We're almost done, folks. Since I have the move command active, I'm going to rotate this. This is a little hard, but if I'll do it a couple times. With the move command active, hover over the center on the side. And when you have that green protractor, click on it. And we're going to rotate this. Oh, my mouse is really sensitive. So let's say it was, let me hit escape and try this again. Move, select that there. You're going to rotate it, and you could type in 90. Try that again.
It's 0, Mr. Frosted.
Oh, thank you, 0. Hit 0, enter. That's weird that it picked that up as 0. 0, enter. So you have that there. Do one more time. Hover over. Click. Hit the number 0, then enter. Or move it a little bit, hit 0, then enter. It'll rotate it. And we're almost done, and this is what you're going to be turning in. We're going to select this bottom corner, and we're still in move, and we're going to hover over and move it over to this part here. And that is our first dado joint. Last step, just to make sure we could see that these are different parts. We're going to color these. So let's go to materials. And this is where I'm going to give everybody a little bit of latitude. So go to materials, view more options. Go to browse. Let's go to wood. And then you select your wood types. Just make sure that they're different so we can see the different parts. That's ugly. Okay, that one's better looking. All right, and when you're there, hit save. And you're all done. And this is your exit ticket. Comments, questions, concerns, something I need to show you again. Okay. I will show you how to rotate again. So you have to have the move command open. Okay. If you pick the center red X's, those allow you to rotate. So if you just hover over them for a second, you'll get that little wheel. You click on it and then you start rotating. Now, we had it initially like this. I think we had them flat like this. To rotate it up like this, you had to use 0, then enter. So once you're done, I'm going to open up the portal. You're going to turn this in. Okay. Okay. Do I need to show another example? Okay. So if you're done, save. And I will post this on Google Classroom. You could turn this in, okay?